Give you a very brief introduction to TinkerCad. It's a tool that you can use when you're trying to create some prototype circuits using Arduino instead of actually using the physical Arduinos themselves. So it could be quite handy to look at in this module. So once you've signed up for it, if you click on circuits, normally you'll start off I think in 3D design. So if you click on circuits and then press create new circuit, it'll open up its nice little editor where we can actually start to take components and then make circuits and then figure out how they're all going to work. What we can do though is if we click on this components box here and then go down to Arduino, you can see that it's got quite a lot of the assemblies that we'll be used to seeing anyway. So some of these will make sense. We've got things like the NeoPixels, that's a little ring thing. So a lot of this will give you some example code that you can use inside of your projects, which is quite handy. We'll start off with something simple. I've pressed breadboard, so let's see if we can get one of them up and working. So we can see here how it's wired up. It's actually the code for this is quite nice in how they initially wired it. So you can see that it's wired up your 5 volt on one of your power lines and then your ground into your other power line. So it does make it quite easy to do things. If you want to play around with the code, whoops, my mouse has disappeared. I just press on code and then you'll see here we are not going to be using blocks because we're in primary school, so we press text and then it'll change it to this. Also with this, I think sometimes you can actually change the different Arduino board, but I've not managed to figure out how to do that yet. And you can see here what it's done is it's set up a very straightforward kind of the hello world of the Arduino world is our kind of blink function. So right 13 to high, wait a second, right to right 13 to low, wait a second. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly make this to show you how it would work. We'll do it with an LED because it's probably the easiest thing to get working, he says. So we'll get an LED, we'll chuck that on the board, and then we'll just put this here. Okay, now once we've got that on, we need to put in some wires to get everything wired up together. So the first thing I'm going to do is wire up, there we go, from pin 13 across to there, and then from my negative down to there. Oops, why is that not behaving? Chuck it there. Okay, so now I've got that done, we can press that. And there we go, and that's it up and loading. Okay, we can see what it's saying with this though, is it's got this little error bubble that appears. The error bubbles can be quite difficult to see, especially if you're doing something like a blink, because then it's only on for a second. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to comment out that delay right low, just so that we can have a look to see exactly what that says. And it's saying that the current through there is a little bit high. Basically, we need to put our resistor in line with this. So to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a resistor. We'll use this one here, and then we'll need to get this working with this. Okay. So what I'll do first is let's just take this wire, and instead of having it there, let's put it down to here. Okay. And because of the way the breadboard works, it's lined up with those 5 and not those 5 there. What I can then do is take a resistor and use that to actually bridge the middle. And then I don't need a lot of resistance on this. Let's just put in 220 ohms. And there we go. Okay, you can tell it's 220 because of the colours. It's red, red, brown, and then it's got its gold bar because it's a 1%er. So that means remember it's your black, brown, Roy G. Biv. So black, brown, R is red, which is 2, 2, and then brown is 0. Okay. Okay, so now we've got that wired up, what I can do is press start simulation, and there we go. That's actually loading up this time, and it's a little bit easier to see. So hopefully you'll find this tool quite useful. You will be able to do quite a lot with it and actually testing out your Arduino circuits. It's definitely worth something that you can, something that's worth investigating. Another good feature that exists in it is we press share. You can actually get snapshots of your design, which you can download, put inside your reports, which is very handy. You can also export them if you want. There is another thing that you can do. Where is it? There we go. This shows you your component list. So if you do create something, you'll know exactly what you need to get afterwards in order to make it. So it can be really, really useful. Okay. Good luck in using it. It'll be interesting to see what kind of things you manage to do with it. Please have a play around. It is a very, very straightforward tool to use, and hopefully it's something that you will find useful.